This episode is brought to you by Tabletop Dominion. If the antics of the circus have given you the desire to roll some dice of your own, head to tabletopdominion.com and use the code DESIRE10. Everland, we've travelled far for you. Everland, tonight we've finally entered into the town. Out of the wilds we stride, and I wonder what lies before us here. Is everything just as it seems and we are safe now? Will we ever really be safe again? Will Nathaniel prove to be a friend? We must see just how this story ends for us. For another town we're tasked to visit, finally we've arrived. The road has been a torrid test, but all are still alive. Magic items are required. My purse is feeling lighted, dice and desire.
Unless there's anything else, I suspect that you will all want to be getting to Danavar's house.
Correct. So what are we saying then? 615 gold.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool. And I'm getting rid of that amulet thing and the salt shakers.
And
cool.
So do you and Quinch want to add 3 plus 3 arrows each?
They're special arrows, right?
Yeah, plus 3 arrows.
Yeah, so it means there'll be an extra 3 on top of any attack and damage rolls.
The plus 3 goes onto the attack and the damage.
Yeah. So
these are retrievable arrows, so I need to make note to pick them back up.
They are, but generally speaking, you only get half of them back. So you'd probably get 2 back the first time, 1 back the next time.
But still, for a big battle.
Has he got? Is he selling any lightweight chain as well?
It's more about the breakage than it is about the losing.
Harpoon.
Okay. Brittle. Fair. All right, thank you. That's
3
good.
each. Sounds good.
Wonderful. Okay, so you leave the teller's cellar for the second time. Wonderful, everyone. Thank you very much. And it's been wonderful seeing you again. And I suspect I'll see you again some point in the future somewhere else, I suspect. Probably not here. Maybe, who knows? Silvery Moon. Perhaps another city. Who knows where you're going to end up. We'll see you again soon.
Before we go,
Bye-bye.
Was there any progress on the trap box that I asked about last time? I think I asked it was him.
Was that him?
I'm sure I asked someone.
The short answer is no.
That's fine. I'm sure it was him.
Sure.
If not, I'll ask again.
Yeah, I'll listen back to the last time you heard him. But the answer is no right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I assume as much.
But I'll have a look. I had forgotten about that. I'll make a note.
I had, to be honest, until literally just now.
So you leave the teller cellar being lighter in coin, heavier in equipment. Danavar's or somewhere else?
Imagine we've got to stock up on arrows, haven't we?
Yeah.
How much are arrows? We may as well just deduct
We'll
gold.
do that off that sort of stuff we'll do off air. You've looked around and we'll sort it out in a bit.
Cool.
I think it's like 1 gold piece for like 20 arrows or something like that. It's not
Basically free.
significant.
Pretty much.
Basically, yeah. But it's just to making sure that you're not just thinking you've got unlimited ammo.
I'll take a couple of gold pieces off my total and just...
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, knock another couple more off than me here.
Dickhead.
Yeah, what are you doing?
What time of day is it?
Well, by the time you've done that, it's evening time. It's probably around. We're probably looking now around 6, 7. No, about 8 o'clock, I'd say.
Should we get to Danavar's then?
Is that the inn where we're resting?
Right, so you head from where you are over in the sort of west of the town. You head east now in the direction that that the guard had, that Gus Gus the guard had pointed you in. And you go through again various shops and market traders and stuff like that, and you eventually start getting into the residential, and you can see that this is, completely different to where you were, but similar in architectural style. Still very much a lot of just well maintained stonework buildings of various sizes and various not various styles necessarily. They're all in keeping with each other, but just slightly different from one to the next. And as you're going, as you're walking through this, you're sort of thinking, this is weird. Like, this is the residential. Like, I'm not seeing any more shops. I'm not seeing any bars or taverns. I'm not seeing anything. But then all of a sudden, roll me a perception roll with you, please.
Natural one. Fuck that, man.
21.
Yeah, it's not Dabov. It's possibly Dweezil.
13.
11.
Dabov's too distracted. He's rummaging with something in his pocket.
And Greg's watching him rummage in his pocket, apparently.
Okay. So Dweezil, perhaps because he's a bard and has spent time at a lot of taverns and inns and things around, he's the first one to sort of hear just a little bit of merriment, I guess, coming from off to sort of the northeast of where you are now. And with an ear for these things, he heads off in that direction. The rest of you follow. It's, as I say, it's late now. The sun is sort of starting to set. It's pretty, it's not dark, but it's darker, and you can see lights all around. There's one building in particular that is very lit, and it's a manor house. It's quite a large house by comparison to the rest of the buildings around here. But weirdly, even though it's designed or it looks like a manor house, there are lots of people in and out of it. And you then, as you get closer and closer, you see a sign that says Danavar's house. Now, I would ask Stuart if he could give me a description of what the sign would look like, but I suspect with the name like Danavar's house, you got anything interesting to go off of that?
Wow. Danavar's house. It's bloody hell.
No fish out of water, is it?
No, it doesn't immediately conjure up an image,
so.
does it? I can't get an image of Dan Aykroyd out of my head. So I'm going to say it's got a picture. It's two men dressed in black suits, wearing black hats and black Ray-Ban Wayfarer sunglasses, doing an extravagant yet masculine dance.
There we go. Lovely.
There's an illegal immigrant alien in the background.
different franchise.
No,
different
same
franchise.
one.
Dan Aykroyd, known for his role in Men in Black.
Did you make up the name Danavar's house, or is that a thing?
No, that's the name of the place. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because Danny and Gulliver in it.
Yeah, and Nathaniel Day-Lewis is actually a name in the book as well, which is weird. So, are you going in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you head in, it's not like whilst I said Dweezil heard merriment coming from it, it's by no means like a big party place. There's not a lot going on here, but there's just, compared to the rest of the residential sector, it's just more lively. As you walk in, you're essentially greeted by what would be the same as like a mansion or a manor house. Like, there's this big open foyer, and sort of directly in front of you is a bar. To the left and to the right of you, and actually behind it, there's like a staircase leading up as well. To the left and right of you, though, you see doors heading off into what you would assume are just old rooms that would have been populated, like when this building was previously used as a house. One of them may be the reception room, one of them may be leading off to the kitchen or something like that. This is still very much internally styled like a house. The only difference is it's now being used as a pub, as an inn, and so you've got this bar in front of you. There's a few patrons milling about the bar, but most of them are getting their drinks and they're heading off either left or right behind the bar. They're going in various different directions. There's not many that are staying at the bar itself. Stood behind the bar, serving, is a half-orc gentleman, one-eyed, looking very, very gruff. And he's stood there, and he's polishing his mug. He's wiping down. Classic. You walk into what are they always doing when you walk in? They're always just polishing their mugs. When I say he's one-eyed, there's no eye patch. There is instead an item lodged, but I will talk about it in a second.
An
It's not a horn, is it?
Is there 3-foot horn?
It's a Tarrasque tooth. What are you doing?
Approaching the bar, I guess. Like, if he's the main innkeep there, it would make sense to approach him and ask him for a room. So,
It really insensitively. What the fuck is that in your eye?
And as you say that, there's a slight hush. Even though there aren't people in this room, you can sort of hear just conversations in other rooms, just quietening down a little bit. And as he sort of hears you saying that, he just goes and puts down a shot glass on the table. he keeps a shot glass in his eye hole, and he pulls out a drink, and he pours a drink, and he knocks it back, and then he sort of drips it out. He's just sort of like, he goes straight back on in.
oh, we used to do that back at the Sorcerer's University. You know, you get the tequila in the shot glass and you dip it into your eye. It gets into your blood system a lot quicker that way, you see.
Greg, what was a wizard like you doing at Sorcerer's University?
Well, I'm a sorcerer, not a wizard, so quite a lot.
Oh, that's fine. I accept and support your decision to change. It's more than welcome to make the switch to a sorcerer later on in life. Thought you were a good wizard, though, to be honest.
What?
Barkeep, what was that you just drank?
Tequila.
That was tequila.
No, he's just singing the song.
It's interesting that tequila is a spirit brewed from agave, isn't it? Anyway, what's the speciality drinks here?
It's for them dickheads that just knows everything.
No, I just think it's quite interesting. That's all.
Tequila.
Wine, vodka, tequila.
In that
All
order.
it.
And he's very, very business only at the moment.
Do a cocktail. Someone order a cocktail.
I would like a white Russian, please.
I've run out of milk.
I've got a goat. We could use him.
Sebastian's a bloke.
We know enough one of these horses might actually be a cow, so
Do you know? Do you know how to make a aesthetic bando?
No.
Oh. Can I have?
Sorry, can I help you? What?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we're looking for rooms for the evening. Barkeep, preferably one each, because I don't want to sleep with any of these morons, basically. But what's your price for your rooms? And also, we'll have a shot of tequila each as well.
So
Preferably from a clean glass, not from the one in your eye.
we're not going to share the same glass.
I've only got 3 rooms.
That's okay. Don't mind sharing.
That'll be 15 silver pieces if it's just for the one night.
Let's do one to begin with, innit?
Yeah,
Pay as you go.
yeah.
And for the tequila.
Hang on, are you charging us for the tequila that you drank?
That'll be another 1 silver piece for each tequila.
Oh, I'll have one.
I'll pass on the tequila.
Yeah. So 4 tequilas and 3 rooms. Dweezil.
Do you do any soft drinks?
I was going to say milk, but then I realised it's sold out of milk.
Just had a delivery.
from a male goat outside. Water.
Slightly less soft.
Ice.
Hard water.
Water with a bit of vodka in it.
Yeah, that's fine. Carry on.
Okay, so he gets out 4 shot glasses. He gets out a 5th shot glass and puts it to the side. And he sort of does the typical sort of like gets out the tequila bowl, sort of opens it with his mouth, does the pour across the 4 of them, slams the cork back in, and then he gets a little bit of water and puts it into the shot glass and pushes all 5 across to you, holding out his hand for the silver pieces. And so from there, I should say, where you are now, there are no seats to be taken.
That's okay. As I hand over the silver pieces, I'm going to just make eye contact with him and say,
Well, it's only got the one eye.
I'll close one of mine and say to him, I'm looking for Nathaniel.
That's me.
Oh, fuck.
Is it possible to have a word with you, Nathaniel? And with that, Dweezil just pulls back the jerkin of his leather armour to just show the Harper's badge that he's been wearing underneath the armour, to just give him a little glimpse of it.
Can I have a stealth roll for that movement, please?
Quinch
20.
notices.
Dirty
Quinch
20.
notices this incredible display that Dweezil's just done, and he turns his back, and he does a similar sort of thing, just like not to anyone. He's just sort of practicing it. He does a similar sort of thing, but revealing his nipple. And he's like, "Yeah, I like that one. I'll bag that."
Very, very much nature's Harper's badge. He as you. So, what did you roll? Sorry,
Dirty 20.
Does 20. You do that well enough that he spots it, and although there are other people in the bar, they just haven't ordered or whatever, or they're coming to and from the rooms. And as he sees you do that, he sort of motions at you, sort of like very delicately, just sort of like you just see his hands just sort of flick, like to sort of say, perhaps you would like to station yourself up at the night room, and I'll bring your drinks to you.
Yeah, so I'll motion to the lads.
And so he tells you, and so he sort of like, as he says that, he sort of like points in the back sort of to if you're like looking at him, it's over his left shoulder. And there's not a direct way there, but you'd get the sense of you'd go round the right side of the house as you're looking at it and head up that way and find what is described as the night room.
Is it night as in night or night as in night?
Yeah, you'll see.
All right.
It's very obvious which is the night room.
Quinch looks down at the bar, sees the several shot glasses that he's pushed towards us, but now being told that he's going to bring them over, just starts walking around to the room.
Yep.
Yep.
So you head off onto the room?
Yep.
So you head off to the right, and as I say, this house is set up like very much like a house. This whole place. So you walk in and you go into this room, and it's not a reception room per se, but it's just this square room that is now currently being inhabited by various bar tables, and there are groups of people looking very, I want to say secretive. Like almost every table you're looking at is almost trying to ignore every other table. Like every table is a bit closer to each other. They're all talking a bit quieter. There's a few tables that are a bit of a anomaly to that, and they're a bit more merry. But generally speaking, all the tables look like a group of people in some sort of discussion. Very few games or anything like that. So you go through this first room, very standard affair. You go through the next one, pretty much the same. It's just decorated very nicely. It's, even though it's now an inn, it's still decorated somewhat like it would have been in the olden days when it was used as a house. You carry on, and eventually you sort of see a room which is completely different, and it's unoccupied. It's basically there's one table in there. There's no one in there, and the walls are basically all completely like dark blue, and there's like dots of white all around, decorated. So it's decorated like the night. You head on in and take a seat at the table.
Does Krill recognise the coat of arms? Which knight is this?
Not that type of night, MJ. And you sit down at your table, and you're sort of waiting for the drinks. Is there anything you want to do in the meantime while you're waiting?
Greg's just gonna ask what were we doing here? Because the only things that
I'm sorry, I seem to have done my old man thing of where I've forgotten. I vaguely remember. My voice going all weird. I vaguely remember me saying that we had to meet Nathaniel and show him the Harper's badge, but that's about as far as I've got. What's our aim here?
Darathra asked us to speak to Nathaniel to find out why Tribord weren't warned of the giant attacks, because the group that Nathaniel and Darathra are part of are a network of people that look after each other, and should have known really about the giant attacks. So something has gone awry.
Oh, all right.
Anything else, or nope?
No, we didn't recognise anyone as we were kind of walking through, like the bar or anything. No usual characters.
No. Roll a perception, Greg.
That's a natty 20.
Natty 20. You didn't recognise anyone specifically. But what you did recognise is that there were... So when I said there were like tables where everyone was having like hushed talks and things like that, you could tell that they had their own style. I'm not going to say a uniform by any means, but that they looked familiar to each other. And then you would have noticed that another table where similar sort of things were going on, they would have looked similar to each other as well, but not necessarily to the same as the first table. So
it's basically like college, where you got like the people with different cliques sitting on different tables.
Yes, sort of that. So that's what you would have noticed. Okay. Maybe you're relaying that to the rest of the group or whatever you guys are doing, but all of a sudden you sort of hear a sort of a not a thud, but like heavy footsteps headed your way, and eventually Nathaniel arrives at the doorway, and he's got a tray with five glasses, or 5 shot glasses, and he puts them down in front of you. Can you all roll perception? And as you're doing this, he just says, "Here are your drinks."
Dirty 20.
24.
12.
7.
Other guys?
7.
7.
13.
13. What did you say you got, Greg?
12.
12. Krill and Dweezil are the only two that recognise that these are not the same drinks that you ordered at the bar.
I
They are
mean,
the same. They are the same. They're the same shot glasses.
I feel if Greg didn't realise when it was brought in, it's been placed in front of him, he would just drink it like a shot.
Okay. So
Krill
Greg reaches...
leans over the table, and he almost ham-fistedly reaches out for the glasses, and in doing so, he accidentally knocks them all over.
Interesting. That is very, very, very...
Well, I've got 2 contravening suggestions here.
Play it like Magic the Gathering, the stack.
I am going to roll luck. If 1 to 10 is Greg.
Can't we
11.
just
I mean,
say
Greg
that
said it
Greg's
first.
grabbed his before you can knock him over or something? So maybe only Greg
I'll
gets
happily
his plus?
I'll happily take out the rest of them, and Greg sneaks his out just before
Okay.
I manage it.
Yeah.
All right. So Greg takes his, and just at the second, let's say these things happen exactly the same time. So Greg gets his drink to his lips at the same time that that Krill
Craig.
manages to knock the other 4 over. Fucking hell. Greg slams down his drink and instantly disappears.
Oh, interesting.
Krill jumps up from the table, gets right up into Faniel's face, and says,
What the hell was that? What happened to Greg?
I hope that you... And he says this in a very hushed tone, because he's still stood in the doorway. And it's open doors. There's no sort of shutting off. That was supposed to happen to all of you.
Slap it off the table.
Well, you could have given us a heads up.
Dweezil puts his finger in the puddle of liquid on the table and sucks himself off.
Dweezil disappears.
Seeing that Dweezil has just dipped his finger in, and Quinch being quite adept at that technique, Quinch sticks his finger in the mystery liquid and also sucks it.
And he looks at, having seen the other 3 disappear, and I presume Krill is still somewhat in his face.
yeah.
He just looks at it. He just looks in 1 eye to 2 eyes. I promise you, you want to take the drink.
Krill reluctantly steps back, sort of turns his body to the table, leans over and just still side-eyeing Nathaniel suspiciously, just leans in and slurps straight from the table.
Slips it all off so that there's none left for Davos.
Davos just sat there watching.
I like to think he gets a nuggie out and just dips it in there like a dip.
Davov kind of was previously a little bit distracted, but kind of has noticed the tail end of what's happening, kind of looks around the room and just kind of shrugs and just face plants right into the remaining puddle.
Dabov gets the last remnants of anything, and it's a little bit
Gets
stickier.
backwash.
Yeah, it's a little bit stickier here. And so
God,
seeing as you're the last one, you as you imbibe whatever remaining liquid remains on the table, you instantly feel like your body being sucked away from where you are now.
Oh yeah.
And Nathaniel says, "That'll be 5 gold pieces." No, you feel like you're just being sucked away from where you are, and
The guards come back.
and almost instantaneously, the first thing that hits you, Dabov, and this would have been the same for all of you, but the first thing that hits you, Dabov, being the last one there, is just this instant aroma. Like you were sat in a bar and you had all the familiar smells of taverns, of beer and wine and all that sort of stuff going on, but all of a sudden that's just changed instantly, and all you can smell now is like sulfur and spices and magic and just all these various things going on.
Love the smell.
As your eyes, the smell of magic, yeah. One of Terry Pratchett's best books. As your eyes adjust to what's going on, you can see this rather dishevelled room. And I say dishevelled, to you, as someone who doesn't know what you're looking at, it looks dishevelled. But in a weird way, you can also tell there's sort of maybe some sort of organisation going on here that you don't understand. Like there's parchment and papers and scrolls and there's shit everywhere. And it looks a mess, but equally in a sort of a somewhat organised manner. You then sort of just turn your head and you see the rest of your gang that are there. You see, Dweezil and Krill and Quinch and Greg are all sort of stood around you, having been there a few seconds more than you. As you're all sort of looking at each other, probably somewhat confused, you hear from there's a doorway to this room that you can see, and it's open, and all of a sudden you hear from the other side of this doorway, you just hear something along the lines of, "Oh, hello! See, we've got some more coming through the Nathaniel doorway. How are we all? I'll be with you in a minute."
Seems a bit weird to ask how we are and then immediately say you'll be with us in a minute. Rude.
It's fine.
I heard that.
It gives me a moment just to throw up from the travel.
This is like operating from the franchise that I enjoy.
It's the second Harry Potter reference of the session. Well done. After a few seconds of disorientation and whatnot, you see, walking through the doorway is an older gentleman with not too dissimilar, I guess, to Greg, really. Like, white beard, he's got a robe going on, but his, rather than being like the brown one that Greg has, this one sort of got colours everywhere, and you actually see lots and lots of different pockets. He's also carrying with him a staff, which at the top of it is blackened, like burnt.
Ooh.
And he walks in and says, "Right then, let's get a good look at you. What have we got here then? Ah, well, that is a fine adventuring party I see in front of me. Let's have a look at you." Points at Dweezil and goes, "I can see the drum. Handsome face. You're a bard, aren't you, sir?"
Absolutely. Guilty as charged.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love this. This is one of my favourite games. Looks around, sees Greg. White beard, robe, sort of pointing to you and pointing to him at the same time. Some sort of caster, some sort of magic man. Is he a wizard?
Yes, he's a wizard.
I rather think you've got some sorcerer energy about you.
No, you're right the first time. He's a wizard.
Well, you're very good at this, aren't you?
I like to think so. I've seen a few of you guys in the past, so it's one of my favourite games. Turns to Dabov. A little guy, probably used to getting in and out of a few tight spots.
Dabov just nods
what's
smugly.
that? What's that on your shoulder? A weasel? Could be a ranger, but no. Rogue?
Yes, and this is my good friend Vin that you've kindly noticed.
Welcome, Vin. All are welcome in the Moongleam Tower. And he looks at the two and he said, "Right, you two. I'm going to start with the green one. Big axe, muscular. Has to be a barbarian, surely."
You got it in one.
Keep calm, big guy. No rages around here. He turns around to Quinch. "And now for you. Interesting. Dragonborn, yes?"
Half dragonborn, half human, but yes, close enough.
"Interesting. I was going to say you look different. Not like any dragonborn I've seen around here. Where are you from?"
I hail from Serenity Springs.
Serenity Springs.
You may know it better as Serenity Springs!
Doesn't sound familiar at all, and we are a well-travelled group.
It's quite famous. It's in the it's near the Valley of Opague.
Opague, again, a name I'm not familiar with,
The
but
Valley of Opague is one of the biggest landmarks in all of the world.
Interesting.
Dabov just kind
Fighter?
of butts in and says, "Look, he said it's not made up. It's definitely not made up, all right? Just fucking drop it."
Listen, turn to Dabov. Listen, I'm always willing to learn a new thing. I'm not arrogant enough to think I know everything. I've not heard of these places, and he looks unfamiliar. Fighter?
No, actually, now I'm a barbarian.
Oh, now you're a barbarian. What do you mean now you're a barbarian?
Well,
What were you before?
in a former life, I was a monk.
A monk, and interesting. Did you have a deity that you followed?
Yes. Why do you ask?
Oh, no, don't worry. It's not a test or anything. Doesn't matter. Right then. So you've come from Dathaniel's. You've come from Danavars. Is that correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. If you've come from Danavars, then I suspect you weren't supposed to be here. I suspect that people are trying to get you here through other means. How can I help? My name is Crowan, by the way.
Crowan?
Crowan, yes.
Crowan.
Crowan Valharrow.
I was asked to speak to Dathaniel by somebody in Tribor.
Darathra.
Correct.
Wonderful woman. Excellent morals.
Oh, fantastic lady. One
Good
of
timekeeping.
Yeah, very prompt. I was, one of the few truly good people I've met on my travels. And she asked us to come and speak to Dathaniel about something that had happened in Tribor.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've got 2 questions. First off, who the hell are you? Second off, where the hell are we?
Both good questions. I am Crowan Valharrow. I am a member of, a society I suspect you know the name of, the Harpers. I look after certain rooms here at the Moongleam Tower. I am by no means the main person. I will introduce you to them in due course. But this is, as I say, the Moongleam Tower. It is home to it's the main home of the Harpers in Everland. Does that answer your question? What? I don't think I caught any of your names. Sorry. Did you say your name was Dweezil?
I didn't.
Did you say your name?
No, I didn't, but I will.
Oh, okay.
My name is Dweezil.
Did you say your name is Dweezil?
I just did, yeah.
Very good. And the rest of you?
Greg looks a bit confused to whether he should give his real name or not, because last time we got told off for giving his real name. And he goes, sausage, I'm Greg Mel Wallows.
I'll use my real name.
Well met, Gregomel Wallows.
I'll just say, yeah, I'm Dabov, since I've already introduced Finn. So.
Yeah, I mean, what good could, if they know Vin's real name.
Yeah, they can track me down via Vin. By my VIN number. Oh, yeah. Car reference that everyone will get. Excellent.
Nice to meet you, Dabov.
VIN number's not a niche reference, mate. People know what a VIN number is.
Isn't it just a VIN? Isn't that like calling it a PIN number?
Personal
vehicle
identification number, isn't it? Yeah.
Vehicle identification number, yeah.
Yeah, the N in VIN.
It's an American
vehicle identification number.
But yeah, it's an American thing. English people might not get it. It's fine. Excellent.
Sensitive,
momentum. Brilliant.
Jake's always funnier when you have to explain them anyway.
Yeah, I'll just cut that out and just add in like some canned laughter or something.
Yeah.
Can we? I'm Quinch Fellborn, the bringer of omens.
Oh, what omens do you bring, sir?
Omens of tidings.
Wonderful tidings. Wonderful.
Usually bad, sometimes neutral.
Neutral. And the last one there.
I am Krill Tazula, son of Raul Tazula, leader of the war tribes of the Northern Orcs, and this is Mr. Mosey.
He had to have a longer title than me, you see. It keeps getting longer.
I didn't see Mr. Mosey drink the drink, so he's probably just still sat in the bar. He's probably having a whale of a time.
Did Vin?
He was on my shoulder when I face planted.
Oh, okay.
He's just at the bar with Sebastian, just both sitting on the chair.
Mosey was tucked in my belt, so...
It's a spin-off episode.
Where is Sebastian?
Unless my clothes got left behind, Mosey would be
You're all
here.
naked. You're all naked.
It's obviously with the horses, which just also appear in the room randomly.
If we're naked, can I cast grease? Get this party
Depends
started.
where you're casting it from.
Oh,
It's
Where
the
I'm
roof,
casting
like
it
a
at is where you
shower.
should be
Just
worried.
falls down like a shower.
Wonderful, lovely to meet you. So, returning back to your conversation, Weasel, Dorathra, she sent you here for what purpose? Did you say?
Well, she sent me here to ask a question, but I have some questions of my own, if I may.
Wonderful. Yes, go ahead.
When we entered the town, we were presented with a list of organisations and asked if we were affiliated with any of them.
Yes.
Of which the Harpers was one. So I lied. Well, I suppose I did lie because we're not affiliated with you. We're affiliated with some of your members, but I'm surprised that in a town that is not welcoming to organisations such as yours, that you are able to maintain a presence here. How is this so?
It is a very complicated situation you find us in at the moment, and you speak of Dorathra, and I suspect if she's sending you here to speak to Nathaniel, and by virtue the rest of the party, it is because she is worried of the disconnect from Moongleam Tower. We have people heading this city which it's in flux at the moment. What do you know of Everland? What do you know of its politics? What do you know of anything of this?
Very, very little.
Yeah, very little.
We do not have one elected official. Many towns and cities out there will have a mayor or a water baron or some other person who oversees everything. We instead believe in committee. We believe in a city of choices for all, and to this we have a group of elders who oversee the affairs of Everland. In recent years, it is our feeling that group has been corrupted. It is by no means a surprise that this has happened since the Zuar family have managed to get 2 members of their family in the elders. And recently it was voted that they wished for Everland to leave the Lord's Alliance, who were once part of the Alliance, and officially they say it is because there were some issues with Sunderbar, one of our neighbours, that the Lord's Alliance did not come to their aid during the war, and they've used this as a reason for us to leave the Lord's Alliance and to go it on their own. But one feels that perhaps there is more underhand things going on within that elders group. Perhaps it's a grab for power. They have tried to use this when talking to the common folk. They've talked about reclaiming their borders and making their own decisions, and it's very clear that they wish to. They do not trust, or at least not openly, do they trust factions who are looking to do good or to have their own influence on the world. The Harpers, as you are aware, the Harpers are a group designed to prevent evil doings and the oppressed. We are there to try and ensure that people are saved from these things. And so, since they have cut themselves off from the Lord's Alliance, they wish to do everything they can to cut off the city from the Harpers, the Enclave, and any faction indeed. They have not yet come for us directly, have not yet come to oust us from our home and to oust us from the city. I sense that if they were to do that directly, it would be problematic. But they are doing everything they can to cut us off. And so you speak of Dorathra, a woman who I hold very dearly. And yet I have not been able to speak to her directly for some time because they are monitoring the information coming in and out of this city to places. It is also worth knowing that Darathra herself is a somewhat secret operative within the Harpers. It is not known by all that she is a member of us, and so we have to be careful that we do not communicate directly with her and give away her place within our organisation. She is also a part of the Lord's Alliance, after all, and so knowing that she was part of two factions would potentially create some issue. Does this answer your question, Dweezil?
It does. So I feel comfortable in telling you exactly why we're here. So I think it all makes sense. Darathra asked us to come and see you because recently Tribor was attacked by giants, fire giants.
Giants?
Giants.
This is interesting.
Well, we ourselves have found the last couple of months of our lives have been somewhat rich in giant. We met the five of us in Nightstone after Nightstone had been attacked by cloud giants. We then fought hill giants. We then met a cloud giant who was somewhat different to the cloud giants that had attacked Nightstone. We then fought and defeated fire giants in Tribor, and we find ourselves fated to interfere in the lives of giants. Darathra was concerned that she hadn't heard from the Harpers and hadn't been given warning about the giant attack.
It is interesting you say this about the giants. I mean, giants are indeed a troublesome folk at the best of times. They are big, they are cumbersome, they are difficult to handle, and if they are truly, there is an uprising within them, then we are all to be scared of this. This is something that cannot end well for us little folk. This issue that we are having with the elders, it goes both ways. We are struggling to get information to the likes of people like Darathra, but equally we are struggling to get information in. It's no surprise that the elders are restricting information on two ways. So this is the first that we have heard of any diabolical schemes from the giants. As I say, they are problematic, and we certainly are always trying to keep our eye on them. But equally, on a scale that you are talking of, this is the first that I am hearing of it, and certainly something that I would need to take up with the rest of the Harpers. I am merely a harp shadow within the organisation. I'm important to some degree, but I am not by any means the person that can make the right moves. Perhaps it is time for you to speak to someone who is a little bit loftier than I, and that would be the Moon Lord herself, Dalvania.
Dathania.
Dalvania. Not Darth Ania. But just on the giants, it's, please, whatever your fate is with them, do remember they are not all evil. You said there yourself that you met a cloud giant who was
really lovely guy. Really lovely guy.
I sense there was some connection between you and the giant. Is this?
He was like a father figure to us.
He loved him so much he decided to get a giant tattoo on his chest.
Is this so?
I'd show you, but it's covered by this armor, which I never plan to ever remove, ever. So may as well not be there.
I see you wield a faux hammer.
What?
you've got a faux. Is that a faux hammer? A golden faux hammer set of armor?
Could be someone I don't remember.
Wonderful. Yes, but as I say, they're not all bad. So be willing to treat with them when possible. I mean, the mighty Harshnag was a member of Force Grey, and he did so much good for this world.
It's unfortunate because we actually owe somebody a lot of giant heads.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of giants out there who would be willing to be, well, maybe perhaps not willing, but certainly the right type of giant for you to cut their head off. I don't often, wish to encourage violence, but equally, it's something that sometimes has to be done. Let's get you to Devania. And he walks off quite briskly. He's got a pace belying his age, and he sets off through the door that he came, and he takes you down a couple of floors. And as you're going down the stairways, you see sort of there's a few windows, albeit quite small ones, really, and you can see out the rest of Everland. You can see out, and you're actually really very high up. Like this tower you saw on the approach to Everland as sort of reaching out into the sky, and you're several hundred feet up in the air right now. You can see quite off into the distance, and in fact, you see those mountains that again provided a backdrop to Everland, and you don't see much detail because it's getting dark now, but you can certainly see them off in the distance. After a couple of descending a couple of floors, he leads you through, and you see a few people milling about and doing various work. And he eventually takes you to a door, and he knocks, and he doesn't even wait. He just sort of a couple of raps on the door, and he opens up. And as you walk in, you see a fairly Spartan room. There's not a lot going on in here. It's very much more official looking than where you entered the tower. And it looks, for all intents and purposes, it looks like an office to some degree. There's a desk. There's a few chairs around, a few sort of cabinets and things like that. But it's very much a business room. Sat behind the desk is a lady of about sort of 50 years old, maybe late 40s, fairly plain looking, a little grey in her hair, brown hair with a little bit grey. As I say, very plain looking, and she's sort of sat at the desk and she's just writing away on some parchment. Crowan sort of, he gestures you in, but then sort of like tells you just to sort of stay by the doorway, as he walks over to the lady, and you see him just leaning over, and you see him whispering in her ear, and you're just watching them have this conversation. And Quinch, can you roll me a perception, please?
Yes.
At advantage.
Advantage. 7.
You don't notice anything. They have their conversation, and he sort of stands back straight back up, and he ushers you over, and he says, "Moonlord, I wish to present to you. This is Dweezil, Krill, Quinch, Daboff, and Greg Amel. And Vin Weasel. And apparently a teddy bear called Mr. Mosey. These fine gentlemen and their friends came to us via Danavar's house. They are friends of Darathra, and they have been telling me some troubling news about about giants going and causing havoc around the north. I thought it best to bring them to your attention, as this is quite some troubling information." And she looks up to you and she says, "Please, I'm Devania. I'm the Moon Lord. I am the lady responsible for this tower. I am the leader of this branch of the Harpers. Crowan has told me a little about what you've come here, but please tell me in your own words what it is that's going on with you." Thanks for listening. Make sure you don't miss out on the circus's next crazy antics by hitting subscribe on your podcast app of choice. And in between episodes, you can always find us on social media by searching Dice and Desire on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're in our 3rd year now, and if you want to help us grow, you can do so in a number of ways. You can tell a friend, because word of mouth really helps us get our name out there, or you can review us on Apple or Podchaser to help with our visibility. Finally, you can donate to our Ko-fi page to help us take the show to the next level. All links can be found in this episode's description. And never forget, sometimes it is a dog licking a tree, yes?
After the loss of his father, Colin must start over at a new school in a new city and make new friends. None of this comes easy to Colin, but he quickly finds a small group of like-minded role-playing friends that accept him for the slightly awkward teenager that he is. At the weekends, as Sebastian, he battles to save Callum's Reach from the dark, malevolent creatures that inhabit the Brood Forest as part of their weekly game. During the week, Colin, prone to overthinking everything, must learn to face his own demons as he battles to fit in at Ridge Valley High School. Can Colin put into practice some of the skills that his character is learning and make the same impact at school as Sebastian is in the Brood Forest? Can his weekly game help Colin in more ways than he realises? The only way to find out is to read the book and see if Colin can become the Warlock at Ridge Valley.